To name an amine, replace the E ending of the alkane with amine. If there are any additional substituent groups on the nitrogen, then we use the prefix N to designate what those substituent groups are, and this will be easy to explain by looking at an example. And lastly, if the amino group is being named as a substituent group itself and not as the base name of the compound, then it is called an amino group. So naming amines is a lot like naming alcohols. If the base name of the compound is going to be named off of the alcohol, then we use the ending "all." But if the alcohol is part of something bigger and it's not being used as the base name of the compound, then the substituent group of the alcohol is called hydroxy. And it's the same sort of thing with the amines. If it's being named as an amine, it uses one ending. If the NH2 group or other nitrogen group is being used as a substituent group, then it's called amino. So this will be just easiest explained by looking at examples. So the first one is just a really easy one. 1, 2, 3, 4 long carbon chain. The amino group is on the second carbon. There's nothing else on here, so we're just going to name it as an amine. Butane, so drop the E, butane to amine. It's very easy. So the second one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the longest carbon chain. There are 1, 2 methyl groups. And here's the amino group, but it doesn't have hydrogens, it has 2 additional methyl groups. So here's where we're going to see the second rule come into play. So 1, 2, 3, so this is going to be the closest one. So 1, 2, 3, 4 methyl groups. This is going to be 2, 4, NN, tetramethyl hexane 3 amine. So the hexane is the longest carbon chain. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 methyl groups. And this is on carbon 2, this one's on carbon 4, and these two are part of the nitrogen. So that's where the NN comes into play. If it was something else, then we would use a different methyl name. So we'll see that in the last example as well. So here is a cyclic ketone, and also there is a nitrogen group with an ethyl group and a methyl group. So the ketone is going to be the base name. So this will be carbon number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where the nitrogen's at. This is going to be named as an amino group. And of course there are other things bonded to it, so it's going to be 4 amino, but there are 2 other substituent groups added onto it. So it's going to be ethyl methyl amino. And anytime, and usually there are a lot of questions with naming amines because there are a lot of really weird amines you can think of, because it's very versatile. You can have these create a new bond, then it's something else. So that's why there are a lot of special names with amines, as you've probably seen. I didn't even bother to include the cyclic amines because every single one of those things has a special name. So you just look up the name. And it's the same with the non-cyclic ones as well. There are a lot of special names, the double bonded ones. The good rule of thumb here is if you can't think of an obvious name where you can add a side chain like this, normally this will be able to take care of most of them. If you can't think of a convenient way of naming something like this, then there's probably a special name for it, and just try to look it up the best you can.